So me and my fiance, we moved in here in January, and it was great. It was only in April when issues started happening. When we moved here, it was a rule that you had to move your vehicle every 3 days. And that was a way for the apartment complex office to keep track of active vehicles, to make sure that people weren't leaving non-running vehicles here, which I can understand. Parking is rather limited. Oftentimes we'd get home 11 midnight, there'd be nowhere to park close by, and we'd have to walk often 400 feet each time. I don't know why they never expanded parking here. There's 200 units here, and there's only roughly 150 parking spots. So, for whatever reason, that rule just disappeared. And I've asked them several times what made them change it, and they wouldn't give a response. And people are abusing that rule. There's been a few vehicles that are parked here for over 2 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks at a time, which again, if there was enough room for everyone to have their own parking spot, wouldn't be that big of a deal. But these are trucks that someone towed in from their old property that they lived at, and they don't move them maybe every 2 to 3 weeks, like I said. So, parking is a big issue here, but that's not a big deal. Then about 2 weeks later, we received a notice that we need to put our grill in the garage, or, in their words, toss it out. Because people that didn't have garages on their lease were forced to get rid of them. Now, keep in mind that the patio and porches here are concrete. The surrounding walls are brick, and the roof above the patio or porch is tin. Nothing to catch on fire whatsoever. I had my Weber propane grill outside, concrete pad, tin roof, brick walls, nothing to catch fire. It was there till about the middle of April. Never an issue. I talked to someone in an adjacent building that had theirs there for 2 to 3 years. All of a sudden, you gotta get rid of your grill. Big no-no, just out of nowhere. The management here, and from what I can tell about reading reviews of not just at our property, but all the properties that this Seldin Company owns, is that they just want to make crap up on the fly. And it's a game to them. They want to make people's lives as miserable as possible. And this is just icing on the cake. I'll move on. So, our garage has been broken into twice. The first time, the door was just wide open. We're the only people with a remote that can open the door. You're given one remote, the office just has a key to the access door. You have the main door that rolls up, and then you have a regular door to get into the garage itself. Come home, garage is up. No reason why that should be. And the access door was unlocked. So I asked them to fix the door because the door would not shut. It would close, but the latch mechanism of the door, it wouldn't close properly. You couldn't lock it. If you locked it, you could just pull it open. And that was fixed, but it wasn't fixed properly, and I'll show a photo here now. And then our garage was broken into a second time, and they stole about a $75 shop vac and a bunch of hand tools. The reason the garage was broken into, as you can see in the photo, before I installed that stainless steel cover plate, which they took down, by the way, I guess, that's unsightly to them, there was about a 3/8 inch wide gap between the edge of the door and the door frame itself, and you could just easily open that. In fact, the cop noted that in his report when they were out here, that he could have that door open in a split second with his pocket knife. And I emailed the parent company, Seldin, because they own the property here, and they denied all responsibility for what happened. And there's more. We were late paying our rent. It happens. I thought they'd be understanding. In fact, when we signed the lease here, we asked them, because this is a low-income apartment complex, you have to qualify to live here. We asked them, Would you be willing to work with us if we become late on rent? I just want to make sure our bases are covered in case one of us loses our jobs. Oh, sure, not a problem. So I get a note on our door in October that if we don't pay our rent ASAP, we're going to be given a 3-day notice to quit, which means that they can easily take us to court and have us evicted. Never got one before. I took this up to the office and asked them, what is this about? And they said, well, we posted those on your door before. And I said, no, we haven't. That's a lie. That's incorrect. So I get rent paid down to about $290. And I just got it paid off tonight. And they sent me an email a few days ago. If you don't pay your rent ASAP, now keep in mind I've paid 2/3 of rent. There's 200 units here, owned by a huge national company. They're not hurting for money. They just want to coerce it out of me. If this was an individual landlord, I can understand that, wanting their money, but they don't need the money. They just want to be a-holes about it. So I get another email. If you don't pay your rent by tomorrow, you will receive another lease violation. They just said another lease violation. Now keep in mind, they have never once issued us a lease violation or told us we had a lease violation, and they would not give me the reason for the supposed first lease violation. They just told me you're going to get another one. And if you talk to the other residents here, they're not renewing their lease either because management is sloppy. They have hours that they adhere to, or they're supposed to adhere to. It's 8 to 5, Monday through Friday. Half the time they're not here. The excuse that I was given by the person who oversees multiple properties in the area, a representative of Seldin Company, said that they have other properties that they attend to, which, okay, I can understand that. But if they do that, they need to have a set schedule of when they're not going to be here to be at those other properties. That's just common sense. If someone comes down from another town or just in the area looking to rent from here and they see that they're gone and it's normal business hours, there's no note when they'll be back, that doesn't look good. That doesn't reflect well on Seldin. And then lastly, the trash compactor, which serves the entire property, broke about a week and a half ago. And given the other things that occurred here, I don't know what's going to be fixed, if it ever will be fixed. And now we have to drive by large piles of trash, literally on the side of the road. They had a company come out, a concrete company, earlier this spring actually, to spray paint the areas of the sidewalks and the driveways that needed to be fixed. And for whatever reason, the property manager here never followed up on that. And it was 3 months later before they came back out. Again, months before anything is looked into. And as you can see in the photo, the brick was taken down off our garage so vinyl siding could be put up because they poured new sidewalk alongside the building. And it was a month before they put up siding, and that gap allowed rain and bugs to get into our garage. But they will not admit any responsibility. They will force you to pay your rent within days, but they'll take months to fix anything. And that's not appropriate. And if you go to Google and type in Seldin Company, right now they're at a 1.8 star because they have tons of complaints. They have tons of complaints on other websites too. And they all say the same thing, that management does never get around to fixing anything. And to me, that's almost the same as being a slumlord. I don't think it's much different at all. So please do yourself a favor and do not rent from Seldin Company. If you're looking at apartments online and you see Seldin Company mentioned anywhere, look somewhere else. Because they are literally the worst. I have read some horror stories with that company. Water leaks not getting fixed for a long time, heat and air conditioning, which Iowa law has to be fixed within 24 hours. Not getting fixed for days, sometimes weeks at a time. They don't care. They only want money. They have no customer service skills whatsoever. And if you call the main number, which you can find on Google, they will treat you like dirt because they only care about getting paid. That's it. Getting back to what I said earlier too about the hours, I don't even think the two people that work at the office here have a time card system. I think they just get a salary. So they get paid whether they're here or not. And oftentimes, if they close at 5, 20 till, quarter till, they're already gone. So imagine how much time they're taking and getting paid for not even being here. I wish I could do that. Anyway, thanks for watching, and like I said, please don't rent from Seldin Company. If you see a property and it says Seldin anywhere in the description, the title, or whatever, do yourself a favor and move on.